let's start off, just for everyone's benefit, with a quick historical recap before we dive too deep. So you two are members of the elite upper crust nobility of Chantea's Citadel, where we went in the last Warriors of Waterdeep campaign. Now, this is set about 50 years in the past, 30 years in the past, 40 years in the past, something like that.
45.
Well, you know.
It's time.
So this is when the Chantea Citadel was still populated by humans and elves and dwarves and classic D&D races, and when it was still part of a valley that was part of a huge amount of Chantea worship and farming and that sort of thing, before the dragon, before everything else that came after that. So you two are members of that noble crust, and you are currently thinking of doing something rather rash. Do you want to talk through what you're thinking of doing?
Right. So, I've got an idea. Go with this. So, what's happened is we realized that there's a lot of, crops and grains coming into the city, but they're being stored. And they don't get to go to the people. And I get to talk to the people. I understand, I'm not one of them, but we have an understanding.
Yeah, we get on very well with our cleaner.
Yeah, she's... Well, yeah, obviously she's got a name, and a family. She's obviously talked about the family. I was about to do the Knives Out. Actually, she's like one of our family.
I was about to do the SNL. What's that name?
Yeah, the Bill Hader go. Hey, she's worked for me for 20 years. What's that name? Yeah. Yes. So,
why do you do this, DM? In a word, chaos.
Love it. I love it. Yes. So basically, we have a lot of money, and we know that, and we realize there's a lot of, it's not fair, and things like, food's just going to waste, which could go to the people. Now, we both know that a few years ago there was an attempted revolution, right? Right. So, if we talk to the council and say, hey, let's do some investigation, we get to go on an adventure. Because I'm getting bored here. Everything is just so... I don't want to go to another gala. I don't want to go to another Chantea dance. Seeds everywhere. It's horrible. Why are there so many... it's like you get wedded and they just throw seeds at you. It hurts.
Cece, darling, are you writing in your diary? You're talking out loud again. And I can't think of any other reason. You just told me a whole bunch of things I already know.
Camera pans round. You just sort of sitting there with like your feet up on the ground, and I am just there. And I'm drawing a picture of Chantea. And I'm drawing
you were talking about weddings. Let's move away from that.
I sort of tense up a little bit. I'm like, oh, fine. I have gone through your sock drawer, like on a nearly daily basis, like, ooh, I'm just, no, well, not in there. I mean, he's probably got something planned, something really dazzling and amazing, not at a gala, which will just come up in conversation going, yeah, no, another gala, it would be an absolutely terrible place to propose.
Right, great. Should we maybe put the diary away now, Cece, and talk about the plan?
Realizing I probably shouldn't be writing down all my plans, but it's a compulsion. Yes.
Did you write down about the sock drawer? Did you write all of that down? Wow.
Well, I'm not going to forget about it, but I mean, it's worth noting that when we have our 4 kids, 2 twins, a boy and a girl, and then I'll be able to show them and say, look, Mummy had a very interesting proposal,
Aha.
Okay.
Don't read my diary. I swear to God, if anyone reads my diary, I will die. It is the most embarrassing thing. I put all my secrets in there and my drawings.
Okay, sweetheart. It's not like in 50 years someone's going to find your diary in like a dragon hoard and read it for everyone in the world to see. It's fine.
Good.
Can we actually talk about what we're going to do now? Because it's quite important.
Yes. Okay.
So we're agreed. We're not going to go back to the council and get them to be all condescending and annoying and like tell us off a bit. We're just going to go on this adventure for the good of Shantae, and definitely not to go and find a possible revolutionary ally.
No.
And we'll be fine.
I believe this is what people call the greater good. Yes.
The greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good. I think it's much easier if we ask for forgiveness, and once we've done an excellent job, which of course we will do.
And we won't need to ask for forgiveness because we will have gone after a traitor to the city for the good of the city. We will be heroes.
Yes.
And maybe learn some tips on throwing a successful revolution so that the poor people stop being killed by dragons.
I mean, maybe. And
I understand they don't like that.
I've heard that from the cleaner. Yes, our friend. Yes.
Because I got us to a plot for like a minute and then it went away again.
No, I want to talk more about this unnamed. Yes. Yes. Okay. So yes, if we know how to deal with a dragon, and maybe they'll be grateful. Maybe they'll, I don't know, build a small, not a huge statue, but maybe a smaller statue.
Mine had better have a lot of diamonds.
Well, that is one of your finer points.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But they better put it up high in case people wanted to steal diamonds. Yes.
Point of order. If Elcharn has diamond teeth, they must be very sharp.
I don't know what you're implying.
Just pointing out that that's awful and I hate it. That's all. DM stepping back again, just making sure I understand.
They're dangerous kisses. What can I say? It's good when there's just a little bit of blood on your legs. Like,
Chris, please.
No, Chris, you can't control me. You know what you brought. I am chaos.
All right. So when are you planning on leaving? Anytime soon?
Have you done that final bit of supply provision that you were going to do? I've got all my weapons polished and ready.
Yes, I've packed the bags.
Cielaro, you would have needed to get a special amulet from the high-ups at Shantae Citadel to allow you to pass by the Heartcoil guardians that guard the way into the mountain.
Yes, I think that I have been very charming. Very sweet.
You are very charming.
I am very charming. And sort of, let's say, the first name that came to mind was Bunty. I've talked to Bunty, who's always liked me very much. And, sort of, again, crazy Cielaro. Oh, she's so wild. So, she's probably going to go off into the darkness and get scared and come back. And then that'll be a great joke for us to have. But yes, I think, well, try to keep it on the down low. Let's see if I can get this amulet from Bunty.
You've already got it. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm just telling you that I
Are you writing your diary again?
Yes.
Thank you for showing me this diary extract that explained how you got this amulet yesterday. That is really useful information.
I drew a picture of Bunty. You know Bunty. Isn't this good?
Bunty is a aristocrat, but a very, very small one, like a sort of Robin-style aristocrat.
That is an excellent likeness, love.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Shut the diary again. Yes. I've got the amulet. We've got provisions. I mean, how long do you think we're going to be gone? We're not going to be that long.
Oh, how hard can it be? We'll just pop into the mountain, go, hey, are you a traitor or are you a noble martyr? And then we'll just pop back again.
Yeah.
It's us.
We're
gorgeous.
Belarath, just reminding you both.
Thank you.
Belarath.
Belarath. Yes. Hello, Belarath.
Hello, Bev. See, an advantage of writing things down.
Yes, darling.
Yeah.
If you leave Shantae Citadel and head up the mountain towards the way into the Heartcoil Deeps, they are known as the Heartcoil Deeps already because of the strange carvings that curl around various parts inside the mountain, implying that things and people live here, but you've never really seen in any great depth at all. Moving up the mountain, there's a mountain path that seems to head sort of towards the mountain massif itself, which seems a little odd at first unless you know where you're going. And then ahead of you, you see this quite large, ornate stone doorway that's been quite intricately carved. Again, the carvings on the outside here are not these sort of swirling, interesting shapes you find deeper inside that people have told you about, but you've never seen. This is more of a classic, like, dwarven stronghold look. You assume, but you two don't know, that they were here before the Citadel was here. But you've never really questioned it, you've never really asked. You could probably roll history checks if you wanted to, but I don't think either of you are that smart.
Wow.
I don't know what you're saying, Chris, with my -1 intelligence.
Look, we worked really hard to make characters that were power played to the max, and guess what? That means they're not smart.
I rolled a 9 on my history check.
And
I rolled a 10.
You have no idea, absolutely no idea.
I don't need to know things. I've got people who tell me things, and yeah, it's a pretty door.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate beauty. I can look at that and say that door is nice. Yeah,
it's a nice door. It's very nice.
It's a nice door.
It's got sort of blocky, almost like geometric shapes to it as well. But either way, as you pass inside from this sort of glorious spring afternoon, let's say, as you pass, because you wouldn't have been up in the morning, would you both? No. God,
no.
Didn't think so.
We got up very early at sort of 11.
Yeah. And then we had to have breakfast. Then we had to have,
second breakfast.
A second breakfast, a light brunch.
The sad thing is that cuts too deep right now. But anyway, as you head through this stone door into the mountain, you do note that it's almost like there are pathways, carved walkings into. This isn't just a natural cave. And as you step inside this first bit, it is very tall. We're talking probably about... about 20 feet above you is the ceiling of this space, and the whole thing is sculpted, very carefully sculpted. You can see the beginnings of these strange swirls in the rock that you don't really know what to make of. They look almost like they're organic, like the rock grew in certain ways. But on the other hand, you know that's impossible because rock doesn't grow, apart from Elcharn, who is sort of made of rock anyway. But neither of you are smart enough to really draw any conclusions from that at all. In the side of the walls, either side of this doorway, are two very large golems. They stand at about, nearly touching the ceiling, 15 to 20 foot tall, and they are carved to look like big people. Beyond that, you two don't know either. You know that these are the guardians. They're called the Heartcoil Guardians, are the guardians of this doorway to make sure nothing awful comes out or goes in. And you need a certain amulet to pass them without being attacked, but you have that amulet. Yeah. They don't move. They're like large statues, basically. There's no indication that they would move, but you two know better, and thanks to the amulet, you just pass through without any major incident at all.
Really want to draw spectacles on one of their faces, but that's probably a bad idea.
I mean, who would know? Who would know?
I will climb up the left-hand golem, get some chalk,
Sweetie,
and
be careful.
Draw some pink spectacles on their face.
You carry pink chalk, do you?
Of course.
Fine. You draw little pink spectacles on one of them. That's totally fine. You swear you see one of its eyebrows just go up slightly.
You look fabulous, darling. And then swing back down.
I'm standing at the bottom, like with my arms ready, almost like you weren't going to catch him if he fell, but
it's the thought that counts. Sure.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Either way, nothing happens. These two figures stand resolute as you head further into the Heartcoil Deeps. Have either of you two spent much time underground? I assume no.
No. There's no one there to admire my teeth.
It's wet. And my hair will go weird. No,
it's wet isn't the first thing I would have thought when it's underground. Anyway,
are you saying it's not wet? Because
it's not always wet underground, Tom. I mean, I'm just saying. No, that's.
My God.
Sometimes it's dry underground.
My God, I've been lied to all these years. My parents said, "Don't go in the caves; it's damp." Mold.
Okay, sorry, this is a little... No, we're going to do a side pause. We can do a side pause here. That's because you live in the UK. I appreciate that's different because you live on an island where everything's a sea cave or a river cave, but in other parts of the world, caves can be dry. I'm just saying.
Hey, guys. We've learned a lot about caves tonight.
I come from a country where there are lots of very dry caves, for example. Germany has a lot of dry caves. A lot of the mountains are made of quite porous rock, that's why.
Are the caves here dry?
Yeah, because it's
Up in
based
the
on
mountains.
It's based on where I'm from. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then I maybe I want to go into the dry caves. Maybe that's why I'm here. You keep saying that I'm not very educated in this stuff, and I'm learning.
I've never once made a rude comment about your education. That would be impossibly sexist.
That would be, especially with your drinking buddies. That would be terribly upsetting if I found that out.
Are you those couples who describe each other as dimwits behind their backs, but are both secretly quite dim as well?
No, that's horrible.
I mean, I'm very smart.
I think Cielaro is not only the most beautiful woman in the world, she's also the smartest.
Yes.
I mean, it's tragic, really. Okay, so...
I don't quite get what's been put down here because we're both very pretty and very smart. Also,
I'm very pretty and very strong. Other people
strong.
can be smart.
Yes.
You're very pretty and very
smart. And we have a lot of money.
So much money.
We have so much money.
I think I've spent more time with the assholes you're playing than you have.
I have a childlike innocence of just going, I'm sure everyone's quite lovely once you get to know them.
They really aren't. Anyway, so you head into the Underdark. Now, this is technically a part of the Underdark called the Upper Dark, but it doesn't matter. Where in our world, in the world of, Earth, caves tend to be quite short-lived and don't go too deep. The world of Forgotten Realms and Faerun is different. The caves continue on and on and on and on, to such an extent that there are many caves and tunnels that head deep within the earth that seem to carry on forever. They don't seem to find a sort of natural close point. They seem to just continue onwards and downwards. And you start to realize very quickly that this is not only dark, extremely dark. Can both of you see in the dark? I think you can.
I think so. I've also got light. So.
You can cast the light cantrip, that's true. Even so, just to be clear on not only the atmosphere, but the rules. If you just rely on your dark vision, you can see for about 60 feet, and then after that, it's just black, nothingness. And also, you only see in shades of grey and like slight styrations of like a very high contrast filter. So actually, it's very hard to see anything with any great sense of detail. If you light up your hand, Cielaro, the light from the light cantrip only travels about 40 feet, so you actually see less far than you do with your dark vision. And actually all you get is some of the colour of the walls around you, some of the reflection, but you don't actually see that much further or better. If anything, what you note is that you can see the light bouncing off the walls, off the ground, a huge way down this sort of strange cave corridor that you're passing down, to an extent where you go, this light makes us easier to find.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think I have it up for long. I look at it and then just
I don't think I have dark vision. I just had a quick look.
Oh. You're going to have to hold my hand.
Oh, no.
So you make sure that you don't fall in any crevasses.
Oh, okay.
Without dark vision and without any light source at all, we'll get to that in a second. But just to be clear, it is basically pitch black for now. And Elcharn, you start to go, this may have been foolish. Actually, no, you're not smart enough for that. You go, I'm going to need light to see. Like, without light, this isn't like, it's a corridor that tilts slightly downwards. This is broken stone flooring. The whole sort of idea that this might be sort of straight roads into the Underdark that you had from that earlier first sort of cave, if you will, is gone now. These are broken bits of stone. The floor is not even. There are times where you have to climb up, climb down, go sideways without any kind of vision at all. It is unbearable.
In that case, I think the first time I stub my toe against a particularly horrible rock, I will get out my flame-tongued scimitar and light it up. And pose for a second, looking dashing.
Very, very dashing, my sweet. So hot. Fun. winky face.
Interestingly, you can't write using dark vision because it doesn't have a starration of. You wouldn't be able to see color.
This has
You've
been
got my sword. My sword does 40 feet of bright light and 40 feet of dim light, I think.
There you go. So we're fine. You can just about see, and the sword lights better than your light cantrip, brilliantly. So yes, you can. You have the ability to see, but you're also probably Cielaro probably more than Elcharn because we've talked about it that this does make you easy targets.
Yes, I think I do point that out.
Yeah. Cece, I can't see otherwise.
You can't see. But that, I mean, as long as you're willing to, fight off whoever.
I'll fight off anything that comes, darling.
I know you can. It would be terribly sad if we ended up dying, with only a few feet
Don't be ridiculous. We're rich. We can't die.
We can never die. You're right. We have so many diamonds in your mouth. Does resurrection or not cost diamonds?
Oh, they're not pure enough.
How
dare you?
Anyway, continuing down into the Underdark, you start to realize just the task in front of you of being able to traverse this space, which is not easy. There's strange swirling carvings on the wall. You do see more of this. It starts to become more pronounced as you head deeper. You can see why it's called the Heartcoil Deeps, frankly. You assume that they're carving because it's so ornate, but every now and again it looks like someone's almost carved like a tree root out of the wall, but then it swirls in a way that looks almost like an optical illusion. It's like someone has gone through here and just done a little bit of lovely design filigree work all over the place in crevasses, in these very tight spaces that it wouldn't make much sense for that to be. It's a little unearthly, little unpleasant. There's that phrase, it tugs at the corners of your mind? Mm. It's a little bit of that. There's that sense of this isn't right.
I think for the first time, doubts starting to set in, just sort of like, sort of like, because the door was so beautiful. And then, the statue, and now I'm sort of like going, And I'm also starting to feel a little bit dirty, which I don't really like.
It's true. This is not it's not an easy perambulation through the park. You are climbing and scrabbling, and you've probably already got like slightly lacerated hands in places from sharp stones. That sort of thing.
I bought a new pair of boots, which I've worn around the house, but I probably haven't broken in enough that it's just,
Oh dear.
It's like those people who do the trails in America, and you're like, you just bought all this equipment, didn't you? You didn't actually.
Yeah, I think feeling a little bit of his own unease and sensing Cielaro's Elcharn just swaggers a little more, possibly even starts to whistle a jaunty tune. Like, it's fine, darling. Look, they're just carvings. Oh, you're getting a little bit nervous.
Yes, I am. As much as I love your whistling, we don't know necessarily what's down here. So, if we keep a song in our hearts, but in our hearts, not on our lips, maybe sort of.
I was just trying to cheer you up, sweetheart.
And you, my dearest, you have lifted my spirits up to the gods themselves. I am a little bit nervous.
I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark that none of this is done with any kind of stealth.
No.
Cool.
I have a rogue who does not stealth.
I'm kind of thinking that Belleroth's just going to be around the next corner there. Yeah. Because he wouldn't go too deep, because it's horrible down here.
This is clearly awful. Why would you go any deeper?
We're going for a little rock climb, and then we'll see Belleroth, and he'll give us a cup of tea, and then we'll go home again.
And then he'll be like, "Thank you for coming to see me. It's so horrible down here. Have you got, have you got any news from home?" And we'll be like, "Yes," and it'll be lovely. And then
Okay. What are your passive perceptions?
I'm not very wise. 7!
Oh, wow. I rolled badly and not that badly.
13.
There we go. Cielaro, you hear from up ahead a sort of clickety-clacketying. You don't quite know what it is, but it sounds like sort of skittering or strange insectoid movement.
Oh, no. Bugs.
Yes, sweetums.
There's clickety and clacketing. I think there might be millipedes or centipedes or dung beetles or.
Are you sure it's not just Belleroth doing some weaving?
I'm not sure now, but I think it's unlikely.
Into the radius of the glow from Elcharn's sword. How many did I put? Three what look like millipedes, but very large millipedes, the size of a sort of. What size are they? They're large. They're quite big. We're talking the size of a horse in each case. Are sort of squirming, climbing across the ceiling of this very small enclosed space towards the two of you.
No.
You've barely got space either side of you to move. It is very, very enclosed, and they are crawling above you, towards you. And I think it's best if we all roll initiative, please.
Why is it always insects?
What
The Underdark. The Underdark is all about the
left?
insects. What if we just left?
And created a paradox. we just get that like paradox across the screen. It's like, yeah, you gave up literally on the first try.
The TVA will turn up and go, nope.
I'm thinking like, what is it, Medical Solid 3? It was like, Snake, you created a paradox.
Yes, that's right.
15 initiative.
19.
19.
My dear.
I'm ready to protect you, darling.
So brave.
Oh,
Yeah, you kick these centipedes.
Elcharn, these creatures ahead of you are just scuttling across the ceiling. They're within range of the light, and you go first. So what's the range on your sword?
40 feet bright, 40 feet dim.
Okay. So you've seen them and you get to go first. I will say that they can be quite a long way away at this point if we want, or you can be waiting until they get closer before you act because you get to go first. You can basically decide at what point combat initiates. That's fine by me.
Brilliant. I mean, I only have 30 feet of movement, so I will use my movement to get up to them. But yes, I don't want to have to dash because that would waste all my things.
Then do you want to wait until they're about 30 feet away and then dive in? Sure, that's fine. As long as Cielaro's okay with that and doesn't act before that point. So all they're going to do is move forward until they're at that point. Would you, effectively, Tom, because you've got a bit more time on your hands here because they're arriving a bit closer, do you want to take an action at range before they get that close? Their movement is... 60 feet if they're dashing, so they'll move forward, but then you can do something before they arrive because of the range of the light that you've got.
Yes. This is also this is a great thing about Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm looking at it and I'm going, how much light am I, with my spells? Like Eldritch Blast, that would also create like a light, is it?
If you're worried about this, I will tell you out of game that you're already lit up
in combat,
and you're about to be in combat and make a lot of noise. So the ship has resolutely sailed. Again,
I didn't think we were going to be stealthy, but then it's just sort of like, I think I will just as a sort of opening volley, I might cantrip Eldritch Blast just to sort of like, look, I trust my boyfriend implicitly, but if I weaken them a bit, then he'll be more impressive when he does his stuff, So yeah, I think I'll just opening volley Eldritch Blast.
What you're doing is enabling the patriarchy. Got it.
Oh, absolutely. The patriarchy's been great for me. My papa has given me, Daddy lets me, live in my own flat.
I'm emancipated. I get to live in my own flat. Good, right?
I don't. I know. If I wanted to work, I could. But Daddy pays for the. Yeah. I think that's the thing. I own.
Tom is too sad. Please stop.
Own the flat. And then sometimes Elcharn brings his friends round, and they stay in the spare room. Well, we've got multiple spare rooms,
making it worse.
Get the thing, please.
There are three things, and you've got two Eldritch Blasts.
Okay. Let's say one in the middle, one on the left.
Sure.
So roll to hit.
Yes, please.
That is. Should we start with a nat 20? Yeah. So that's 30.
Let's start with a nat 20. Why not? Boom.
Boom. So that is 2d. That's a crit. So 9, 6, 20 points of damage.
You've got Agonizing Blast, haven't you?
I think so, yeah.
So did you add everything on?
I just pressed the button, Chris.
I just pressed the button and things happened.
Yeah. Nothing does more.
I will not debate it.
So spell creates 1/1 being with high level. So I'm doing it as a cantrip. So
Yeah, it's always a cantrip. I'm just checking that the first beam just blasts one of them, which just sort of falls. It sort of squeals, and the squealing is kind of alien and unpleasant as it falls from the ceiling and lands with a sort of faint squick on the floor about 30 feet away. It's not dead.
These things are easy.
It just lost its grip on the wall.
I think I'm like, it's easy, and then it sort of looks up to me. I'm like, oh no.
It's still 30 feet away. It just scuttles, hit the deck. Do you want to keep shooting that one, or do you want to hit one of the other ones?
I mean, I think if I can get them off the ceiling, Elcharn can. I keep thinking he's going to kick them, or he's going to hit them with a shoe, because that's what he has to do in the flat.
Look, why are there millipedes in your flat? Also, if there's millipedes in your flat, you call a guy. Like, that's what you do.
Yes. Yes, but I'm like, oh no, sort of like, bugs, oh, can you help me? And then I go call a guy, and then you just come in like, well, those bugs are gone. They're not gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Second Eldritch Blast. One on the floor, one on the ceiling.
One on the ceiling.
Cool. There's two more on the ceiling.
We start with that's an 11. Unfortunately,
doesn't hit. So the second one, I think, as it falls, there's a faint sort of because it's not so much carapace as it is soft, fleshy, and but the faint sort of squick probably makes you go ooh, like as one does when there's bugs nearby, especially ones the size of horses.
I think also because it's sort of the one on the floor is kind of looking at me, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that.
It's probably that sort of horrible millipede like curl up while still lying on the ground and like skittling its way up. It is unpleasant. Elcharn, there's one on the ground. The two on the ceiling, they are within reach of you. Everything is very confined in here because it is very much that sort of small cavern space. So you can attack any of them if you want to, and they're 30 feet away. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Take the one that's fallen squitch on the floor.
Yep.
Because it's not looking on its last legs, many legs yet, is it at all?
No, not at all, no.
Great. I would like to rage.
Sure.
Yay.
Is your raging anger, or is it joy, or where does it come from?
It varies.
Okay.
But this one is outrage. It's normally outrage. I'd like to outrage that some pesky bugs have interfered with our nice little jaunt, heroic mission into a mountain. It's just very rude of them.
So your rage noise is an
Oh, come on now.
Says Elcharn. And I rage.
Yep.
And CC is within 5 feet of me, isn't she?
Yes.
Is it within 5 feet of me, or is it within 5 feet of bugs that sneak attack kicks in?
You've got to be within 5 feet to hit them, and CC is not.
Oh.
However, you are a barbarian, so you can use reckless attack to guarantee.
I will do that one instead then. Yes, I wasn't sure if I needed to, but yes. Yes, cool. I will reckless.
Mm-hmm. So you get advantage, so sneak attack kicks in. Yep.
And I get sneak attack.
Yep.
Hey, Chris, how would you like another nat 20?
What is wrong with you two? Okay, right.
We can't die. We can't die.
We're good. Yes, I do a 29 to hit.
Yeah.
And all the dice are doubled.
All the dice are doubled.
Because I do 1d6 for the sword, then another 2d6 because the sword is on fire, then another 4d6 for sneak attack. So I do 14d6.
Plus 5.
Just plus 5. That plus 5 is very important. I'm going to use an app because I don't have 14d6 out in front of me.
What do you mean you don't have? Unbelievable. Not even prepared.
I have them, just I didn't get all 14 out.
Like you didn't think you'd need them. I mean, really.
You're right, that really was short-sighted of me.
Unbelievably rude is all it is.
I'm so sorry. 14.
This is going in my diary.
62 for the 14d6 and then a 5, so 67 points of damage.
Yeah. I mean, how do you want to carve this thing up on the floor?
Flamboyantly. I will just saunter over with my... Elcharn somehow manages to saunter no matter how fast he is moving.
Sure.
Saunter over, strike a pose, and then just slice through, behead it.
What emotion were you trying to convey with that, Tom? Because I'm not sure.
It's a mixture of like going, oh, that's really horrible, and my boyfriend's so cool. When you do something really impressive, you're like, but it's also really gross. Just sort of like, oh.
I blow Cielaro a kiss. And I still have a bonus action. I'm not used to having bonus actions.
You absolutely do have a bonus action. Yeah.
What can I do?
With bonus, I'm not sure what you can do with bonus actions, honestly.
Who
You very much need around one ridiculous hit.
Yeah.
You've got cunning
Oh
action.
no, I don't have a bonus action. I already raged. That is a bonus
there you
action.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
But
That's
then
knew
you
I'd
can have
done
like
something.
dash and disengage and hide.
Yeah, because you're a rogue, you can still do cunning actions if you need to on the second round of combat. That is correct. Right, I'm just checking one of your features because I don't know the exact rules of it. Skirmisher. You can move up to half your speed as a reaction when an enemy ends its turn within 5 feet of you. Cool. So it's after they do things. After they do things. The two on the ceiling are going to skittle around the side of this quite enclosed space and are both going to launch themselves at you, Elcharn.
That seems reasonable. And they have advantage.
And they have advantage because you raged. That's correct. But you're also resistant to basically all damage right now.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it doesn't matter really. Right, so the first one is going to try and tentacle you. It's frondy tentacles.
What
at
do
the front of its mouth.
millipedes have tentacles?
As it opens its mouth coming towards you, it's got quite sharp sort of side teeth, but there's sort of like strange frondy tentacling at the front of its mouth sort of strokes across your side where it tries to find skin. That's a non-nat 20 to hit you.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I want to.
You must.
Why do I have no constitution?
None at all.
That's a 5.
Cool.
5.
5, yes. You take 2 points of poison damage. You are poisoned, and while poisoned, you are paralyzed.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. Now, while paralyzed, any attacks creatures are crit attacks and fire on the creature. The creature will also start biting you, which is an auto crit, so that is... Who, me? A monster? Couldn't be. 11, but halved, because you're still raging, to 5.
Yep.
And then the other one is going to come up to you as well. That is another... I can't double the poison effect. So that's another 4. 9 halved is 4. 13, 6. So these things are just sort of... Elcharn freezes up and probably falls slightly awkwardly against the side of the corridor, paralyzed. And these creatures are just sort of fronding up and all over Elcharn's paralyzed body and face. Cielaro, it is your turn.
Did you say 4 or 6 for that last hit damage?
6.
6, brilliant.
Again, the temptation just to leave.
You'll never find the ring.
Just comes out of the mouth.
Shit!
Pew pew!
I'll just remind you, Tom, that you have a ridiculous number of things you can do. Just saying.
Anything that can unparalyze your boyfriend?
Well, I already rolled 1 Eldritch Blast, which was a 19 to hit.
If you want to post hoc ergo say that you quickened that and did a spell as your main action as well, I will allow
You know
it.
what? I think I might.
Oh, right. All right. So one of them takes an Eldritch Blast to the face.
And that is, that's 12 from Eldritch Blast.
Bang.
Damage.
As it's sort of sat over Elcharn, because it is quite big. Most of its body is sort of snaked awfully down the corridor, but this sort of head, as it takes another hit from an Eldritch Blast, sort of rears up slightly and turns over Elcharn's shoulder to look at you, Cielaro.
Stop that! No!
Shoo!
Again, like thinking, do I take my shoe off and like wave it? But usually that works. I think I will. Ooh,
You get a second Eldritch Blast anyway because it's
Yes,
because you may as well do that.
Yes.
And then if you quicken that, you can cast any other spell because it's a cantrip.
great. So 19 to hit.
Yeah.
And that is 6 points damage.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
The one that is dead on the floor is very much dead. The one that you have been hitting is looking slightly worse where the other one hasn't been hit yet.
Then I think I might guiding bolt the undamaged one just to.
The damaged one, sure.
Yeah, the damage one. Let's try and get rid of that one.
Sure, no problem. Do it.
So guiding bolt at, let's say, first level, because I don't really want to burn through stuff quite. Imagine if I did. If I was like, I'm going to use my 4th level on this bug. That's a 26 to hit.
Well, it does, resolutely and completely.
There's no doubt that thing has been hit.
Correct.
For 12 points of damage.
Bang. It rears back again. Not dead yet. Are you moving any closer? Are you moving further away? What's the plan?
I don't think I want to get any closer because squishy and wearing a very nice new jacket, I love my boyfriend. I really love my boyfriend. Yes, sort of. I think I'm going to stay my distance and be prepared if they come. And because it's guiding bolts, that means next attack is advantage because of the beautiful glittering sort of almost diamond-like shine to this region.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm really in love. Just like point that out.
Elcharn, you are paralyzed, but can you roll me another con save at the end of your turn?
Because my lovely girlfriend did not help me out.
How dare you? I hit the thing. I don't know if I've got a thing that unparalyzes people. I can heal you.
You don't have a thing that unparalyzes people. I'm just going to say that.
Elcharn doesn't know that.
Elcharn doesn't understand the difference.
Actually, can I use a...
Actually, that's not true. Less restoration would unpoison, which would unparalyze. That is true.
I was thinking that, but it's fine. I rolled a 13 on my con save.
You do pass. You are no longer paralyzed at the end of your turn, so you have your reaction. You have your reactions back.
Great.
I mean, hey.
I can run away. This is good. I like being able to run away.
Yeah, because your skirmish thing means if you don't get paralyzed again, you can move back.
Yeah.
But actually, because carrion crawlers have an intelligence of 1, the one that got bashed around the head, assuming that you're still incapacitated and there's one still doing damage, is going to try and move past you to go and get Cielaro on its turn.
Does this mean I can make an opportunity attack?
It does, yes.
I don't get reckless because I didn't have a turn, right?
You can't reckless out of turn anyway.
Yeah. 14 plus something.
Yeah. They are basically, as you start to look at them more closely now that they're up close and personal, their skin, there's not really a carapace of any kind. Like there's a small amount of like ridges around certain parts of where the different segments of their bodies meet, but actually they're quite fleshy and they've got quite a sort of sickly white, like dead fish sort of texture and look to their skin. They clearly don't need to be that defensible in this way and don't really like light that much.
Great. So that's just 3d6. It's just the sword, nothing
Correct.
Fancy. 15, 20 points of damage.
As it goes, thinking that there's a tasty meal down the corridor and this one's all dealt with, you just backswing with the scimitar, and as you do, you cut through it. It just gone out. The other one, realizing that you're not paralyzed, is going to try and paralyze you again. Just lean up over you and just. This is bad. Don't like fire sword. Like, yeah, basically, rearing up and fronding in this vague hope. Now you haven't reckless this time.
I do?
No, you haven't reckless.
No, I haven't. Okay, so at least it doesn't have an advantage.
Correct. So I rolled an 11 to hit, so it doesn't.
Oh, hooray! I was already rolling my con save and crying. This is great.
No need, no, you're fine. As it fronds up towards you, sort of bat away with the scimitar, and it doesn't manage to strike you. You're now sort of holding your own line with it, almost like holding your own against some kind of rearing animal, like you would out in the fields where you have more experience of. But yes, that is where they end their turn. Cielaro,
Do I look cool?
Of course.
Right.
Cielaro, it is your turn.
I was about to say roll for cool, but no need. Constant.
You two do not need to roll for cool.
Look, we're not smart.
No.
But we are the coolest. All the talk of the galas. Because even though we don't go places, we might go places, and that's exciting. Okay, so run about. So is there one
left?
One left.
Hasn't been hit yet.
I might quicken again. So
Sure.
So gotta make sure I take my points off. Okay, first one is a 13 to hit.
Yeah, just hits.
Grand. So this is the Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, that's fine.
So this is 9.
Yep.
Second is a 28.
Yeah.
And that is that's 6.
Look, ones exist on the dice, and it happens, and it's fine.
I just like it that I got like a 28. You're like, oh, that's really good. And you're like, pew, pew.
The whole 20 Eldritch Blast is just it's machine gun fire. That's the only way you can really make that work. So you fired 2 Eldritch Blasts, and you've quickened that, so you've still got a spell.
I think first level Guiding Bolt again. Just
Okay.
sort of, and that is a 22 to hit.
Yes.
And I cast that, and that is 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage.
Nice.
It glows again with a slight diamante glitter, and it's starting to have these sort of strange cuts and rents on it. Its blood isn't red; it's more of a sort of purplish color because it doesn't need to oxidize in the same way. So it is sort of splattered against the wall in various places. That was Cielaro's turn. Elcharn, it is your turn. You already have advantage, so you don't need to reckless.
Because Guiding Bolt.
Because Guiding Bolt, exactly.
Because Guiding Bolt. Brilliant. Thank you, because that was a nat 1. That is a 25.
Yes.
So we're back to 7d6.
Correct.
Plus 5. Doobie-doo. 33 plus 5 is 38.
How do you want to take this last one out?
Fabulously. I will move towards it. And as I prepare my sword, look over my shoulder to check Cielaro is watching, blow her a kiss, and then stab it upwards through the face.
Right. Stab it upwards through the face. The fire burns around it and cauterizes and singes it as it goes, and the whole thing just collapses down to the ground. And all 3 of them are now dead. And we are out of initiative.